Want to know what you're suggesting?
Candidate is
why don't they
different.
just take
I'm
the train?
talking- I'm
Why
talking
about the
about-
bus?
I'm
Ed?
talking about the-
And why aren't they taking the bus? They can get a $69
why indeed?
ticket
No,
to
but-
here to Chicago.
It depends on how, for Chicago, it's a long way. If you're going to go to Binghamton, take a bus. You know, if you're going to go to Baltimore, take a bus. But the point is, it seems like you're in politics. Once you're explaining, you're losing. So once you're explaining an expenditure, you're already on your heels and you're about to be knocked out.
Yeah, I think that that's true. I agree
Now,
with
what
I agree
if,
with that.
Monica, is this a bad idea to bring this guy to a strip club? By the way, your eyes look amazingly blue with the blue of
thank
the
you for
blazer.
noticing.
Yeah.
That's very, talk about ADD hour.
So
That was
go ahead.
totally random.
Is this
but
a
thank
bad
you.
idea to bring a potential big donor to...
Look, you guys probably don't know, there's a little detail about the Watergate scandal that the Democratic National Committee, the DNC, was actually running a call girl ring out of the Watergate complex that was broken into June 17th, 1972 in the famous scandal. There was a call girl ring being run out of that office for top-level Democrats.
Well,
now,
everybody's dead
I'm not.
now.
I'm not.
So
wait, I'm not excusing it.
Anything,
I'm not excusing.
That's
But
why
I am
she's so good,
saying,
guys. That's why she's so good. Yes, her she has something to call.
call girl ring being run, and I'm
dead.
sure Bill can back me up on that. But I'm saying that this has gone on for a long time. You know, if you've got especially male donors with big money, you might want to try to seduce them into giving more by having a little female companionship around, and they'll be more willing to take out their checkbook. I'm not saying
Sullivan,
it's
I
right.
have Nancy
I'm saying,
Pelosi. Here's what she does. She books an Air Force private jet every single weekend, whether she uses it or not. She has it running, fueled up, ready to go, stocked with her favorite liquor, ready to go, and literally a third of the time, she calls, oh, we won't be needing it. And that means they've spent $50,000 plus taxpayer money every weekend,
that's
use it or not.
finding.
But you're complaining about taking a donor who may, Paul or Bill, end up giving tens of thousands of dollars or whatever the maximum they can give to the... Is there a maximum?
That I'm not sure.
don't think
Maybe
there's
Bill knows.
maximum.
I don't know. There might be. I don't know.
I think you can
Coming
give
into
as
the
much as you
committee,
want
I'm not
to
sure.
this point.
Yeah, but to this point is that if it's candidates flying around and you need private jets to get them from campaign stop,
Candidates
I mean
doesn't matter.
that makes sense.
We
but
agree
when,
on that.
But when you start flying people around, whether it's public servants or people who could travel another means, when I'm
We're not
writing a
talking
check,
about
whether
that,
I'm
Bill.
doing
We're not
tax
talking
dollars,
about that. We're talking about the RNC.
RNC. I'm writing a $25
Private money,
check. I'm
private
putting $100.
organization.
I don't want it spent on that.
What if, Paul, let me ask you this. What if this guy that they took ended up writing a $100,000 check?
That's great.
Wow,
it's just
it's
still wrong.
Is
it?
Yes,
is
it
it?
is.
No, let me ask Paul.
It's
Is it
not
wrong?
even necessarily that it's wrong. It's just the optics of it, that Washingtonian word, but optics of it is the fact that, it just looks awful. And right now, I'm talking to Tea Party level people. They're looking for the candidate they want. They're New Jersey are looking towards Colorado saying, this is the guy I want, or they're looking towards Wyoming saying, this is the guy I want. So they're creating their own RNC. They don't need some national organization, some giant, misconstructed organization. As it looks like right now, there's some problems with it, at least from the looks of it. They're saying, I don't need the RNC. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my own.
And that's the point, too. You don't want to
judgment.
see, at this point, a third party develop, at least in my view, is that you have people from the Tea Party developing into their own party as opposed to being absorbed into the Republicans. So if the Republican Party starts to disenfranchise people by acts like this, it's not a good thing because you want those people to feel part of it and for the Republican Party to embrace those folks and don't diss them.
When a guy gives excuse me. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Ed.
When a guy gives $100,000, he wants something. And if you're raising money for a candidate or for a party, either one, and you aren't afraid to say no to somebody who wants to give you too much money inappropriately, then you have no business
why
in
is
that
it
job.
inappropriate, Ed? What's inappropriate,
It's inappropriate
about
for a
donating
guy
to
to think he's buying something from the government by giving money to a campaign.
So you're saying
That's
that, so shut down
inappropriate.
every
It's against the law.
PAC. So shut down the PACs then.
But I get what you're saying.
Well, Ed, you're telling me to give if you give $25 you want so you clearly
No,
you think why is that? Ed?
You
why
think
is
these
it 20?
guys represent me better, and they're
Well, why is the wealthy guy with millions of dollars?
He didn't get wealthy because he was giving away money.
See, I disagree with that. Go
Isn't
ahead,
the
Monica.
question, but the question here is strip club versus no strip club. In other words, would it have been okay for the RNC staffer to take this potential donor out to dinner everybody would have said, yeah, sure,
The sporting
great, no
event.
problem. So the question is the strip club, right? And strip clubs are perfectly legal as long as they're not going over the boundaries. So to that extent, I agree with you.
Don't they serve steak and dinner at strip clubs?
Scores.
They had dinner.
But let's say...
They had dinner. I think it was a buffet. It sounded good.
But let's say, you know, I'm head of the RNC, and somebody says to me, okay, we're going to send this staffer out with a potential big money bags guy. Great, we're going to take him to Scores. Now, if I'm head of the RNC, I'm going, you know what, in this climate where everybody is so upset about spending and how money is being spent, even though it's private money, RNC money, you know, the optics on this might not be so great that you're coming to a, you know, taking the guy to Scores.